Joining us now is Linda Kenney. She is the founder and chair of the Mechanobiology Subgroup. Thank you so much for joining us, Linda.
Thank you for having me.
Subgroups are obviously a passion for you. Why are they so important to the Biophysical Society?
Well, they operate outside of the regular programming of the society, and so it enables the society to remain modern and vibrant with changing focuses in research. And so mechanobiology is a burgeoning new area, and if you look at how many talks at this meeting have mechano something in them, you see that it's really coming of age. And so it enables us to gather our members together, start a new subgroup on whatever topic is relevant, and control some aspect of programming on the Saturday afternoon outside of the regular meeting. So it enables the society to move in new ways as science changes and develops, and it keeps us lively and our membership strong.
Now, switching gears, Linda, you are also a passionate advocate for how important biophysical physics is to medical research. Now, I don't think that's well known in the public sphere, but what can we do to raise that profile?
Well, I think that our scientists need to come out of our laboratories and speak to the general public about how our work is relevant to their lives. So having the Science Times as part of the New York Times, for example, is important because it popularizes science. And also, I think our general public needs to know how they benefit from our research efforts. So for example, in the area of mechanobiology, we have developed new ways of isolating tumor cells from the circulation when they're at very low levels, maybe before they form tumors, so we can diagnose cancers earlier. Or we can diagnose infection from the blood earlier without having to go to culture dishes. And we can look at how force controls stem cell differentiation so that the matrix is feeding back on the genes that are expressed. And so cells growing on dense surfaces become bone versus growing on soft surfaces where they become muscle or nerve, for example. And so these are ways in which our new discoveries are actually driving innovation in the marketplace.
But none of this would be possible without research funding, and research funding or lack thereof is a huge topic amongst members within the society, and a big topic here at the meeting. What do you think the answer is? Do we reach out more to the public sphere, which is the government, or do we go more to the private sector, which is industry? What do you think the answer to that problem is?
Well, first of all, I think that the public also needs to know that research drives the economy, and that each of our laboratories functions as sort of a small business in which the principal investigator is like a business owner, and they are hiring personnel, spending money on supplies and equipment, and driving the economy. And then I think that the government has to fund medical research because industry model just does not work. If you look at a big spender and something that's closely aligned to medical research is big pharma, and you look at what they actually spend on research and development, it's a small fraction of what they spend on advertising their drugs to physicians, for example. The last good model was probably Bell Labs, funded in part by a government allowance of a monopoly by AT&T, and you see that that no longer exists. And so it really doesn't function, and we can liken it to industry doesn't get involved in educating the public. That's a government job, but yet they rely on an educated workplace, so our workforce. So they need to work together, but it's absolutely the role for government to step up and fund the scientific enterprise.
Interestingly enough, the New York Times recently did a story about research funding and scientists, and really the statistic is staggering. It's shocking and both sad at the same time. 1 in 5 Americans are thinking of moving overseas because of the lack of funding here in the United States. So talk to us about your personal feelings on that matter and why you actually have chosen to move overseas.
Right, so that it is a staggering statistic, and so when you think about how long long you spend to train as a PhD and a postdoc and eventually to have your own laboratory. When it becomes almost impossible to keep that enterprise going because of shrinking research budgets, then you're faced with, do you change and retool in mid-life, mid-career, when this is your whole life and what you're interested in doing? Or in my case, I decided, well, I'm going to go work overseas. And so Singapore is a small country, but is investing large money in research. We have a research center of excellence there in mechanobiology. They've had the foresight to put money into basic science. It's attracted investigators from all over the world. And we have a multidisciplinary group and an open lab plan where we have engineers, physicists, biologists, microfabricators, all coming together to work on scientific problems. And it's a unique experiment, so it's a lot of fun, but it makes me very sad that I have to go work on the other side of the world, that I can't pursue really a fully active, engaged laboratory here in the US with our current funding situation.
Linda, thank you so much for joining us and really sharing your thoughts on some important issues. Thank you.
Thank you.